Hey everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be talking about the Big 12 bowl games, and that's coming up right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Just Justin. I am Justin, and we are going to take a look at the Big 12 bowl games that played out here in 2025 and 2026. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to go down the order of the bowl games. All right, so let's go ahead and start off on the first bowl game of the season for the Big 12, and that is the Pop-Tarts bowl game. That was played on December the 27th of 2025. That was a Saturday. And that features the BYU Cougars and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. All right. And that was a well-fought game between two top teams. Of course, BYU from the Big 12 and the Yellow Jackets from the ACC. And it was, I watched that game. It was an awesome game. And BYU came out the victors of that game, 25-21. Okay, and so that was a nerve-wracking game for a BYU fan like me, but BYU came out and they ended the season 12-2. The only two losses were to Texas Tech. So we're going to talk about the Texas Bowl, also played on December the 27th, and that featured Houston and LSU. Okay, so Houston edged a close shootout in their own home stadium. So they have a home field advantage in that one, and they finished 10-3 on the year. So Houston beat LSU, which is an SEC team, 38-35. Now that was a close game. All right, I watched most of that game, and I was rooting for Houston on that one. Okay, so the next game was on December the 30th of 2025. Okay, and that featured the TCU Horned Frogs against the USC Trojans, and that was the Alamo Bowl, played there in San Antonio. Okay, now the Horned Frogs, they outlasted the USC. Okay, and I mean it was a good game. It ended up in overtime there in San Antonio, with TCU earning a thrilling comeback victory over the Trojans, and they finished 9-4 on the season. So that went to overtime as well. So that was a good game. Another victory for the Big 12. Okay, so and USC was from the Big 10. Okay, the Sun Bowl. That was played on December 31st of 2025, and that put Duke, the conference. Duke. They were the conference champions of the ACC. Athletic Coast Conference, and they were playing Arizona State. Okay, in the Sun Bowl, there in El Paso, Texas. Okay, now Arizona State fell to the Duke in a high-scoring affair there in El Paso, with the Sun Devils unable to hold on despite a strong offensive performance of that game. Now, I did not watch that game, okay? I was most likely at work, because some of these games that took place during the day where people work, all right? And I didn't have this thing called vacation, but I wouldn't take vacation to watch football games anyway. But Arizona State lost that game to the ACC, to Duke. Duke is a good team. I mean, you usually think Duke is a basketball school, but no, Duke is a football school. Yeah. So Sun Devils finished 8-5 for that year, for 2025. Okay, now we get to the Las Vegas Bowl. That was also played on December 31st of 2025. Okay, Las Vegas, of course, is in Nevada. And it featured Utah from the Big 12 and Nebraska from the Big 10. All right, so Kyle Whittingham elected not to go to this game. And so the new head coach, it was his first actually game he coached. And we'll get into that story about Kyle Whittingham and him electing not to come to the Las Vegas Bowl. Okay? But Utah, they just dominated Nebraska. Devon Dampier dominated with 5 total touchdowns, 3 rushing, 2 passing, as Utah scored 37 unanswered points after trailing 14-7 in the first quarter. So yeah, Utah was down, and Nebraska was looking like they were going to wipe some Utah butt all over that Las Vegas Bowl there in Allegiant Stadium. But Utah Utes were not giving up. They came back again. They won it. So yeah, Morgan Scalley's first game, and Utah finished 11-2 on the season, which is pretty good for their second year in the Big 12. We're not going to touch on this game right here very much. I'll say that from my other video. But the Orange Bowl, the college football quarterfinal featuring Oregon and Texas Tech. Okay? Let's just say that was not a very good game. All right? We'll break down the game there in the college football playoff, which will be my next video. So stay tuned for that review. Now we got the Liberty Bowl. Okay? Featuring Navy and Cincinnati. This is played on January the 2nd of 2026. All right. And I was like, I thought all the bowl games should have ended by now. But no, they did not. Okay? So, Blake Horoff threw 2 touchdowns in a round for another as Navy dominated a shorthanded Cincinnati team. So, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Like, I didn't watch this game, unfortunately, because, I was obviously at work. And so I just was watching the score as the game was being played. And yeah, so Navy beat Cincinnati 35-13. But Cincinnati finished 7-6 on the year. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Holiday Bowl. Another game I did not watch. This was on January the 2nd as well. All right, so the Holiday Bowl there in San Diego, California. SMU and Arizona. Okay, so after the Mustangs, the SMU Mustangs, they were on a 5-game bowl losing streak. Okay. They were not very happy with the Big 12 because they've lost to the Big 12 quite often in the past couple of years. Okay, but SMU jumped out to a 24-0 halftime lead. Okay, and held off Arizona second half rally. With the Mustangs, like I said, snapping a 5-game bowl losing streak. And SMU finally beat a Big 12 team. And Arizona finished 9-4. Okay, so they attempted to come back in that game, and SMU beat them 24-19. So Arizona defense held SMU to 0 points in the second half, but Arizona's offense just couldn't score to win the game. So that was a very good year for bowl games for the Big 12. They had 8 total teams in the Big. So they had 8 total teams in the bowl games there, and the record was 4-4. So 50%. That's not too bad for the Big 12. Big 12 showing. Yes, they did. So they did beat a very good Georgia Tech team from the ACC. They beat LSU from the SEC. They beat USC from the Big Ten. They lost to an ACC school. Utah beat up on a Big Ten school. And Oregon beat Texas Tech, so they lost to a Big Ten school. So it was a good season, a good showing for the Big 12. They did come back. Everyone played good. So that's what I'm happy about. So the Big 12 bowl games are all wrapped up. Now we're just waiting for football to start again in August. And it starts on August the 29th of 2026. That's week 0. Okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap of the Big 12 bowl games that I have put out here on my No Niche channel here. So if you did, give it a thumbs up. I would really, really appreciate it. And also hit that subscribe button so you can be notified anytime I put a video out. This No Niche channel has a lot of stuff that has no particular niche. Okay, football, Big 12 football, BYU football, cooking. I need to do more random thoughts. I need to figure out my life, okay? Maybe I'll talk about figuring out my life, okay? But so this is a No Niche channel, all right? So, and I covered a lot of football here, especially Big 12. I like BYU. Okay, don't hold that against me. A lot of people are probably out there haters, but that's fine. Some people like the Raiders or the Chiefs, or some people like the Bills or the Cowboys or the Lakers. But we all can't be right? So, yeah, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, give the video a like, push it out to more people. Okay, and in the next video, we'll be talking about the college football playoff results up to the championship. All right, and that's coming up next week. So, until the meantime, I will see you later. Bye.